Here's a few of the buttons that your students can use that are pretty cool on the Bernina sewing machine. The first one is right up here on the screen. This is the needle stop up and down, and you can change it right here. You'll see a needle with a stop up and down. Some of them you can just touch the screen, and then you can change it on by touching the screen. Mine actually has a button that it will make it go up or down. I hold it in to switch whatever direction, and I can manually do it up and down. And this arrow can change if you hold it. The next thing is, what's really cool is the pattern end button. Anytime that you're going to be using your cards, you can have the students do a pattern end, where meaning that if they only want to sew a flower, they can sew a flower, and then in the midst of their sewing, they hit the pattern end button and it will sew to the end. Some of the new 330, the 325s have what's called a mirror image. So I can mirror image an object. So say, like on my card, I have this certain flower right here. I'll show you. This flower, if I don't want it to go that direction, I can flip it and it will go the opposite direction. And so that's a fun little thing of mirror imaging. You can use it for letters, you can use it for words, or your decorative. I know a lot of you don't have a lot of the newer stuff on there, but this right here is to knot your thread, so I can knot it at the end of sewing one of these decorative stitches. If you are using a decorative stitch, it's very important that you use a number 20 foot. And a number 20 foot looks like this, and it's called an embroidery foot, or the open toe foot. The way that you can tell the difference of Bernina's sewing machines and their feet is by looking at the bottom. And as you can see, there's a big opening, and so what happens is those stitches float between here and not jamming up. Whereas if I were to use my number 1 foot, it would get caught because it doesn't have that little float to go across all those. And this would happen to my students, and then the thread would jam up, and then their heart would be like scrunched up, or would create a bird's nest underneath and jamming up into the needle stitch plate. So just make sure that, knowing that Bernina does make specific feet, and yes, they are expensive, but they make them for a certain region. 1, because A, they want to earn lots of money, and 2, they make them so that you can use it for whatever project that you're doing to help make it work correctly. So those are just a few little other tidbits that Bernina has specific to their sewing machines. A student could also sew by just pressing this button, and it would sew automatically. It would turn green, and then you'd have to adjust the speed on the sewing machine so that it's not sewing so fast.